TRP National Motocross Action is proudly brought to you by Out of Africa Group. Create, construct, growth. Sinswalo Lodges, where else in the world? And all our associate sponsors. Bloemfontein Off-Road Club, round 4 of the Motocross National Championships, makes its way to the middle of the Free State, and big action expected here on a track that has been prepped to perfection. Arguably the best circuit so far this season, and Richard van der Westhuizen definitely had his work cut out for him, working with the BORC to get this track ready to go now for round 4. Situated right next door to Tempe Airfield, and definitely a place that the Free State comes out in their hordes to enjoy the action. They're all ready to go now, and it looks like we're going to be in for some great action, because remember, this is round 4 of this championship, so we're getting to the halfway stage. And this is where things can heat up, particularly in the 50cc class that have their own special circuit set up for them. A couple of guys getting caught out by the gate there, but out of the gate looks like Jake Van Scoor might have got the drop, and he has. Van Scoor leading down into turn 1, and as they go into turn 1, Bridgestone corner, it's every man and lady for themselves out there. Ethan Williamson, the championship leader, not getting quite the start he wanted, but he's definitely looking like he's got what it takes here. All riders down in the background. Couple of riders going down there. I think Jake Pretorius was one of them. The other one was WJ Van Niekerk, and Logan Van Vuren starting to make his way through, just avoiding all the action. And the action in the 50cc class has been top notch all season long, but it looks like Van Scoor has got something special on his 338. The 38 special out front here getting away. The 38 special, of course, is Keenan Strauss right on his tail. So 338 versus 38. There goes Williamson, the polka dot jersey on the inside, looking for 4th place as he squeezes out. I think that was Casey Tilley. Trenton Kretzmann coming through as well. Watch out for him. More importantly, keep an eye out in the background for Christian Barrington-Smith as he starts to make his way through a big field of 20 riders. This little small track, look at it, perfectly prepared. Trenton Kretzmann there is the man on line 4. He's just ahead of Evan Frost. And they're all starting to close down on the front end. Williamson's dad on the sideline, giving Ethan everything he needs to try and get him up to the front. But I don't think he's going to have the power or the pace to match what's coming out of that front bike of Van Scoor. 212 is Tilly. Just watching in the background for the 141 there. Barrington-Smith has been very quick, and he's starting to set the track alight with some very hot lap times around here, and that's allowing him to get to the front end. Speaking of getting to the front, up to second is Williamson. He's just got through there on the 38 bike of Keenan Strauss. 91 goes down. Kaylin Oosthuizen, one of our lady riders. Young lady being helped out there by the squad on the side and back up and riding very quickly. Williamson's up to second. 171 with the red plate. He wants that red plate by the time he leaves here today. Just watching in the back now. Check as they all come through there. 404, pushing hard is Logan Van Vuren. He's had a phenomenal start to this one as well. Much better outing for him. Not so good there for Cruz Martin. Not cruising in full force and unfortunately getting it all out of shape and falling to the sideline, but back up and riding very quickly. Trying to catch Van Scoor is everybody else on track, but no one has an answer. Ethan Williamson hanging on for second. It's now the 38 of Keenan Strauss, being closed down by 212 Casey Tilley. There comes, oh, there it is, the 141. Haven't seen it yet. I was looking for him, but you can see just how hard he's pushing. And Barrington-Smith is now, and is definitely within sight of those leaders. You see second place now is Ethan Williamson. He's probably going to have to settle for second. I don't think he's going to have enough time here to close down on the leader. There comes the charge for 4th, 5th, and 6th place. Around the outside, Tilly, Kretzmann, Frost, Van Vuren, and Barrington-Smith. Problems there. That's 36 who's gone down. That's a big pity there for Chase Becker. Becker normally a front runner as well. Hasn't quite had the same kind of pace he's had earlier on. Rider down on the inside. Oh, that's 212. Casey Tilley who's gone down. Casey Tilley going down there as well. Logan Van Vuren keeping it upright. And Ethan Williamson doing everything he can except to get to the front. That's the only thing he hasn't got right now. This is the battle for third now. Look at this. It's incredible. Keenan Strauss with Barrington-Smith on the inside. Casey Tilley there with them as well. But, oh, it's so tight. It's going to be right to the line, this race. It's absolutely brilliant. Fastest of those 3 riders at this stage is the 141 of Barrington-Smith. 331 further back in the field. There's Eli Young hanging on to a hard charge at the back. 30 is in there as well. That's Brody Bircher. And, of course, we just saw Brett on the sideline there shouting for his youngster. He's about to go get onto the big bikes later on, but Brody doing a magic job so far. Here comes the battle for third, and it's still Keenan Strauss hanging on, but Barrington-Smith trying to find a different line. Goes on the high side, gets a good drive around there and gets good drive out of that berm, side by side as they come into the next turn. This time Strauss goes on the outside, Barrington-Smith on the inside. It's very close between the two of them. Absolutely brilliant stuff as they go up over that Thor jump. Further back, the rest of the pack sorting themselves out there. Great to see VJ Van Niekerk and Trent Valeski having some fun and games of their own. And you can see 110. Valeski was a man who's actually just gone down, so he fortunate to get back up. Third place now in the hands of Barrington Smith. He's got through on Strauss, and the flag is about to come out. That's perfect timing. Watch out for a late charge coming there as well from the 9-4 of Trenton Kretzmann. Jake van Schoor followed home there by Kobe Hart from Hart Bay. Just following the lead all the way through, but the checkered flag is out. And results there, Ethan Williamson taking the overall victory on the day and maintaining the red plate, heading into Dirt Broncos. Jake van Schoor in second, and Barrington Smith there in third place, beating out Strauss, Kretzmann, Tilly, Becker, and Vernickak. Celebrations on the podium. Some happy faces out there, and looking forward to the next round. Let's go straight into the next bit of action as the 5-second board leaves the track, and we head into MX2s for the first time today. Arguably, as I always say, the most competitive category in the country, if not the world. And what a start to this race as they go down into Thor. Down that Bridgestone straight into Thor turn 1. And it's Slade Smith around the outside who gets the whole shot, coming alongside him though through that first jump into 100%. Looks like it's Kieran Fitzgerald. Another fantastic start out of Johan Vogelsang as they head down into TRP. And now into the start of the full lap. Absolutely amazing stuff. Look at this. Oh, that thing is completely out of shape. That Red Bull KTM is like a bucking bronco. And holding it and forcing it into the first turn at Dragon, you can see just how hard Kieran Fitzgerald was working. They go up over FMF, heading up towards Motel now. And it's Kieran Fitzgerald. Looks like, a good start coming out of his teammate. Yes, right there with him is Josh Mlimi. He's made his way through. Looks like Slade Smith's made a slight mistake somewhere on track. And he's lost a little bit of ground. It's a great start from Jesse Wright on the Tinswalo Yamaha. Good return for him as well. He's right ahead there and pushing hard, just a little bit ahead of Cam Deroe. The Reef Tankers bike there sitting in fourth place just behind Jesse Wright as they come flying over the big one and down into the back section of the circuit. This is fantastic race action right from the word go, and expect a big battle here in the MX2s. Deroe starting to close on the back end of Mlimi, but look at that, squeezing him out is going to be Jesse Wright. Oh, inside line coming out of Nick Adams on the Cooper Fuels Husqvarna. He had to go just a little bit wider than what he would like to there, and up over the big step up. Has to go side by side with a bit of action. Slater's gone down. He's dropped right to the back of the field. He goes down again. Oh no, Slade Smith is having a nightmare. Absolute nightmare out there for the youngster. In the CRT Husqvarna, he actually got trapped underneath it. He kept it running though, kept the clutch in. That's good stuff, and gets back and up and riding. But he's got a huge mountain to climb to try and get to the front end. Let's see where he ends up. So it's Red Bull KTMs 1 and 2. Mlimi closing in on Fitzgerald, who leads at this stage. Watch out for Reynard. Reynard's starting to come into play as well. Brad Cox had a good start. He's sitting about 5th or 6th place at the moment as well, and looking for a chance to close things down on the leaders. This is how tight it is for that little mid-pack battle. There you can see that is the 34 of Cox on the back end of 23 Reynard. Two of them working together as they go through FMF past the Dragon enclosure. It's Deroe who's closing in on Mlimi. Right, followed by Nick Adams. Side-by-side action coming through here as well. Vogelsang still hanging in there. Great job from him keeping out Reynard. But Reynard, I think, is on fire here and has certainly got a very quick Yamaha underneath him. Watch out for his progress, trying to close down on his teammate for this weekend. Of course, that's Jesse Wright. Wright's dropped back slightly, maybe a bit of fitness coming into play there. Nick Adams trying to find a way past on Jesse. It looks like Adams might just have that inside line sorted. Oh, he comes across. That's where we saw Slade go down. He nearly went down there as well. Fortunately, the wheels tucked in and those Pirelli tires hooked up nicely as they came through. Oh, problems! Fitzgerald making a massive mistake there. That is going to be costly big time as Kieran Fitzgerald loses the front end. Fortunately, he didn't go out the front door, but he just managed to get back up and riding. But that is going to be massive loss there for Kieran Fitzgerald. Slade Smith making his way to the front end as well. Out front though, it's Cam Deroe. Look at that, taking his hand off the bike. He's got an injured shoulder, remember, after a big crash in the United States. That might just be what Josh Mlimi needs. And Mlimi will be hunting down his good friend Cam Deroe, but he'll be fighting hard to get to the front, and Deroe will not make it easy for him, even though he's got the injury. Good recovery there from Fitzgerald. He's just ahead of Cox. And Cox having a fantastic run here, fighting with Jesse Wright and Nick Adams. It's probably one of the best runs we've seen out of Brad Cox in a long time. And Mlimi's now hit the front. He's got ahead of Deroe. Deroe must be battling with that shoulder. You can see it's affecting his riding ability. Remember, he's got dual duties to do today, not only in MX2s, but also in the high school class. And Reynard is on a flyer there as well, looking for second place, possibly. Fitzgerald's got through on Cox, so the battle continues there between the KTM. And you can see those two KTM riders doing a super job, but the best KTM out there is the Red Bull KTM of Mlimi, who cruises across the line to take the win, beating out Anthony Reynard. And Cam Deroe hung on incredibly on that Reef Suppliers Thor Racing KTM in third place. Fitzgerald comes through for fourth after crashing out. Cox takes fifth place, one of his best finishes of the season, beating out Jesse Wright, Nicholas Adams, and Johan Vogelsang. Looks like that might be the best seat in the house for the Bloemfontein round of the National Motocross. TRP Nationals are in the Free State. Crowds have come out in a big way to enjoy all the action. A little bit of prep being done to the bikes in between as we get ready to go now for the Pro Minis and 85cc Juniors. Big gate, absolutely amazing. 39 riders coming out here for this weekend, and we're going to be in for some huge action. Remember, at the front end, it's all about Seth Young in the 85cc Juniors, and at the front end of Pro Minis, it's all about Blake Young. The two Swaziland speedsters going to be up for a challenge now. Dylan Kirk out the gate nicely as well as he heads down towards turn 1 into Thor Corner. They head along this Bridgestone straight away. And who's going to have what it takes to outgun? Leonard du Toit getting a great start. Looks like he might be the man to catch here today as they come through Thor turn number 1 and everybody's starting to sort themselves out there. Looks like a rider down as they come over the first jump towards 100%. Great start from Emmanuel Bucko, 85cc Junior in amongst the Pro Minis. Fastest of all those Pro Minis. Timo Topper's the rider who went down. He's back up and riding, but now in with a large job to do. Front end, du Toit trying to get away. He's got a great little fight happening just behind him there between Dylan Kirk and Blake Young. Championship lead. There is Emmanuel Bucko. As I said, look at that. That's the 85cc Junior leader. The rest of the pack coming through there, watching the background for 250. That'll be Seth Young, and 94 will be Deegan Bloomfield. That's going to be the fight for the 85cc Juniors. Up over the FMF jump and up towards Motel now. See these youngsters holding nothing back. Bryce Peterson, Hayden Tully and Garrick Henley doing a good job there on the 28 bike, just ahead of Luke Grundy. Have a look at this. 85cc's in full flight with Dylan Kirk leading over 7th Heaven and clearing it. In fact, the first 5 riders, 6 riders, make that 7, 8, 9. Okay, maybe not 10. Just a couple that didn't quite make it and all nearly landing on top of each other. In fact, they do. That is a massive moment. 2 riders, one in the air over 7th Heaven and the other one landing right on top of him. I think that might be Vion Dupoy, just looking at the colours he was in, who was caught out there. I'm not quite sure who the second rider was. Could be Cade van der Venter. As our leaders head up over the step, medical team in call and on duty almost instantaneously. Looks like we may have a slight concussion there on Vion Dupoy. See the guys are helping out there. In fact, Kevin Moran down there helping out as well. Just making sure the riders are all okay. Closing in on the leader though. Look at the progress from Leonard du Toit. Du Toit is now right on the tail and actually almost side by side there with Dylan Kirk. There's the championship leader, and Young just hanging on to the back end of Emmanuel Bucko. Not finding a way through on Bucko. That is an incredible ride. Hayden Tully leading up the second battle, and that is Luke Grundy, who's in that one. Fighting hard with Lucas Venter. The two of them going at it with Peter Haynes, and looks like Carl Townsend in that little fight too. Fight for the front, those that get into FMF. And you can see just how hard Leonard du Toit is pushing. Closing on the back end of Blake Young. That's the leader of the 85cc Juniors. In fact, he's about 6th place overall on track as well. That's an incredible ride. They come side by side. This is a change for the lead. Through the flight turn. On the inside goes du Toit. Trying to find a way through there on Kirk. Oh, they are absolutely lit and side by side and getting it whipped at the same time as well. 146 with some problems there is Josh Fletcher. That's going to cost him some time in the 85cc Juniors. He's going to drop out of the top 5 possibly there. James Thompson going to capitalize on that. As I said earlier on, this is Hayden Tully leading out the second pack. In this pack, look out for Garrick Henley starting to make his way through there, fighting hard with a 243. And you can see just how tight it is there. That 243 bike, that's Diane Manuel. Manuel battling a little bit with an injury, I think, and not on the pace that he should be. He was a man who was at the front end at both of the first 2 nationals, and now not even anywhere close to it. So the Zimbabwean has got some work to do, and possibly going to have to try and make up ground at the next round. They come out of Motel heading towards 7th Heaven now, and this mid-pack battle starting to heat up. Henley just maintaining pace at the front end. Oh, a little tip there. Warren du Toit goes down. Oh, and Venter couldn't avoid him. He stood up right in front of Venter. He puts up his hands to let the other riders know that he's there. And fortunately, the marshals on duty waving that yellow flag and warning them about riders down. At the front end, a change-up. It's now Leonard du Toit who's at the front and getting away. Tyler Tarantino coming into the top 10, looking for a top 10 there in the Pro Minis. That's Deegan Bloomfield right on his tail. The Ridgeway Race Bar rider up into 2nd place in the 85cc Juniors, beating out Seth Young and Josh Fletcher at this point. There goes Young, and Young's moved up to 2nd, so he's behind Leonard du Toit. He's got through on Dylan Kirk, so there's a good possibility he might be able to hang on to that red plate for now. Coming across the line, another incredible ride coming out of Emmanuel Bucko, and he's got way ahead of everybody else in 85cc Juniors. Let's have a look at the overall results, though. For the Pro Minis, it's Leonard du Toit who takes the overall ahead of Blake Young and Nate McClellan, beating out Dylan Kirk. In 85cc Juniors, Emmanuel Bucko dominant ahead of Deegan Bloomfield, Fletcher and Seth Young.
It was nice. The track was pretty rough. I ran a scoop tire. It was just a lucky race.
All the way from Zimbabwe, a dominant feature there from Emmanuel Bucko once again in 85cc Juniors.
got a bit of arm pump and then just kept my lines clean, and yeah, it was a good race.
Welcome back to Bloemfontein, the Bloemfontein off-road track, and it's round 4 of the TRP National Motocross Championships, and we've had some fantastic action. And if you've gotten anything behind, don't forget the race shop is here. You can get all of your katunta that you might need, and you're going to need it now because there's 34 riders in this gate. It's MX3s and ladies combined. Watch out for a change-up in the way things have been all season long as Kayla Roth moves across to Summit Racing out of the D-Force Racing team and into new machinery as well. And at the front of MX3, it's going to be Tyson Engelbrecht fighting with Topless, Kruger, Bircher, and look out for possibly the Bergstroms and Hubbard to be in there as well. Gate's about to drop for MX3s and ladies combined, and that is a big gate. And getting stuck in the gate, the 15 bike. Oh, and a rider down right on the start as well. Oh, that's not the start you want, that is for sure. That is not the way you want to start things out there. David DeVitt was the rider who got stuck in the gate, but I'm not quite sure who's gone down. We'll pick up on that a bit later. It looks like Bircher might have got the whole shot as he leads things out. Hubbard right on his tail there coming through. You can see a nice start as well from the 29 of Craig Kruger. Not such a good start from Topless. He might have just had to avoid the rider going down there, and I think that's why he didn't quite get the start he wanted. The front end, though, they start to sort things out. As they come through, you can see just how difficult it's going to be because they are slowly but surely going to reel in some of those slower MX3 riders and some of the slower lady riders as well. But this is going to be a battle royal at the front. That is for sure. Up over 7th heaven, and on a big 450, that's not too much of an issue. We saw earlier on at 85 just how hard they had to push. Some aerial material in the background, but aerial material coming through at the front end as well. And at the back too. But at the front it is Tyson Engelbrecht, and it looks like he's trying to open up a bit of a margin here and get away from the pack that's closing him down. He's got through on Bircher. Bircher looks like he might have lost out to a couple of other riders as well. Yes, he has. The 25 bike coming through there and pushing hard is Roger Bergstrom. And there you can see the 30 bike of Brett Bircher, just a bit further back than what he was earlier on. As the 105 goes down there, that's a bit of a pity there for Justin Bauer. Looks like one of our ladies getting caught out by the rut. Through that prep stall section, it got really, really gnarly, and there were a lot of lines that you didn't want to be in. This man's not worrying about lines at all. He's hitting all the right ones at this point and getting away. Tyson Engelbrecht leading things out. The 25 bike right up there as well as Bergstrom, and closing him down is Craig Kruger. There comes Topless, slowly but surely making his way to the front. 102 is Janka Petersen. Lady riders at the back, maybe just taking a bit more strain and making it very difficult. This track is starting to rut up big time, and they're starting to feel the effects of a really well-prepped motocross track. Engelbrecht is reveling in it. Look at the progress being made here, slowly but surely ticking them off one by one. And you can see just at the front end, we're going to have a bit of a battle here for second and third place. The 25 bike of Bergstrom under big pressure. Here comes Tegan Reid on the inside for D-Force Racing, looking for a chance, possibly finishing up in the top 5 here in the ladies category. And speaking of ladies, leading the ladies at this stage, as always, Kayla Roth, but not too far behind her. Look out for Leah Haygate as she starts to make her way to the front end and looking to close things down. There she comes. You can see it's very much closer than what it has been between those top two. And Kayla Roth will have to keep her eyes on the rearview mirrors if she had them and ensure that Leah Haygate doesn't get through there. Natasha Rugani hanging on for third. Battle's continuing through this field. Tegan Reid looking for a chance for a top 5. And looking for a way around the outside of Jenna Bowling. Nice battle between the two of them. But out front, Tyson Engelbrecht is the man to catch, and he's got time to have a bit of fun in the air as well. Lovely stuff from Engelbrecht, getting it sideways. There you go, leading the 50 plus is Rodney Udendahl. Good ride from him. He's been closed down now by Topless, who's moved to second. Topless up to second place there. Squeezing through and getting ahead of Stuart Lang and Calvin Gloster as well. So big moves there from the number 76 right in the closing stages. Not getting the start he wanted, but getting through to second place. He'll also win the 40 plus as we see our ladies coming through there with Raf taking the victory. Overall results there, Tyson Engelbrecht winning things out over Stuart Lang and Hubbard. Roger Bergstrom comes through for 4th place. Topless winning the 40 plus. Brett Bircher behind him and Craig Kruger, and 50 plus going to Udendahl. Dave Peterson down with Tyson Engelbrecht in pit lane.
Tyson, obviously you enjoy this track, eh?
I think it's probably the best track in the world, according to me, probably because I help out here and I come from here. And it's just nice to have friends and family here, so all around, best track in the world.
In the ladies category, Kayla Roth maintains a perfect season so far, ahead of Leo Haygate. Natasha Rugani in 3rd place. Janka Petersen beat out Jadine De Lima. It was Tegan Reid ahead of Bowling, and Karika Petersen making up the top 8. Red plate stays with Kayla Roth, heading to the Gauteng track at Dirt Broncos for round 5. We go straight into MX2s now, and who's going to have what it takes to take the second heat? Fitzgerald was the man to catch in the first one. A mistake from him was costly. Let's see if he can keep it upright this time. But he is going to have some fiery contenders on his tail, and I think we're going to see one of the most epic battles we've seen in Bloemfontein for a long, long time. And that's why the likes of Sinswala have joined us. Let's catch up with Warwick Wilson.
What's the motivation for you guys to be involved with the Yamaha team?
David, just an awesome product. We absolutely love the sport. We believe it's a sport that brings the family together. It's a clean sport, keeps kids off the streets. And Bidvest Yamaha's always supported us. We, as I said, we really, really think the product is amazing. The people behind it are incredible, and as long as they're there, we're here. So that's pretty much it.
And we certainly appreciate all the help from Sinswala and out of Africa. Stalwarts in motocross as MX2s are in the gates. For heat number 2 and down awards, turn number 1 they go. Thought, turn 1, and it's Reynard side by side with Kieran Fitzgerald on the inside of them and trying to squeeze through with Slade Smith. Looks like he might get to 3rd place. But this time, once again, it's the Red Bull KTM of Fitzgerald who's taken the whole shot and trying to get away now from his teammate, who's also got a fantastic start. Yet again, fired up after that first victory. Mlimi is there. Side-by-side action as Slade Smith starts to make his way to the front end on the CIT Husqvarna. Much better start there from the youngster. This time he's kept it upright. But it's Fitzgerald who leads things out. On his tail is Smith. Looking for a way through is Mlimi and finds it. So Mlimi from 2nd to 3rd. Bumping Smith down to 3rd place. The rest of the pack come through there, and you can see Ricky Roth with a much better start as well. He's just in there with Nick Adams and Cam Deroe. Remember Deroe with double action and double duties to do today and battling with that shoulder injury. Mlimi kind of closed down on Kieran Fitzgerald. He'll certainly be fired up and looking for a double victory here today, that's for sure. Slade Smith just wants to take 1 victory, there's no doubt about that. And Deroe around the outside of Reynard. Can he find a way through over the step-up? Watch this. He's gone side by side with Reynard, and it looks like he might have just got through. Brad Cox was absolutely sideways and pancaking over the step-up. Great ride there from Cox. Once again up into the top 5 there for Cox, and a much better outing for him here in Bloemfontein. The aerial material here, and you can see just how hard these boys are having to work. The track is now rutted big time. It's a proper motocross track out there, and one of the best prep tracks we've had all season long. No doubt about that. Fitzgerald trying to get away now, but he can't bridge a gap between these 4 riders behind him. Make it 5 because Reynard's in there as well. It's Centralo Yamaha closing in on the back end of that Reef Suppliers machine of Cam Deroe. And Deroe now trying to just hang on. He hasn't quite got the pace because remember that injury is going to hinder him, particularly with the length of this race, and still duty to do back-to-back with 125 just after this. Not an easy day in the saddle for a man returning and trying to make up the ground he lost, missing Cape Town. Here's Smith, side by side with Mlimi. Oh, brilliant stuff there between those 2 youngsters. Lots of respect, but also a huge amount of rivalry between the 2 of them. And you can see just how hard Slade Smith is working. Deroe's now in it. Deroe has closed in on the back end. Reynard not quite there yet, but not too far off. Then you go to Jesse Wright. Jesse Wright being followed now by the 252 of Roth. Roth on the inside of Cox. Cox tries to cut back at him. Brilliant block pass there from Ricky Roth, and he moves through, getting ahead of Brad Cox. Behind them, you can see they line up. Nick Adams is there, so is Vogelslang and Tyson Engelbrecht. And we've just seen him in action in the MX3s. So riding dual duties as well is Engelbrecht. It's got a hard day in the saddle when you're riding against guys like this, that's for sure. But needless to say, it gets your fitness right up there. So right now, we've got a change up. Yes, we have. Mlimi's at the front. Fitzgerald has gone down to 3rd place. Looks like Kieran Fitzgerald may have made a small mistake somewhere, and it's cost him 2 positions. It might even cost him 3. Because Deroe is all over the back of him looking for a way through. He'll maybe keep out Cam Deroe because he knows he's got that injury, so he'll probably just force him into areas he doesn't want to be riding in. But areas that you want to be riding in is where this man is finding lines. He has not put a wheel wrong at all. Pepper on the sideline, Tasman Pepper there as well. You can see happiness from the MX chairman, the Motocross Commission chairman there. Big support after his big crash. But great to have him here on the sideline and shouting hard for all the boys. This is a fantastic 5-way battle for the front end of MX2's heat number 2. There's nothing in it between those first 5. In fact, there's nothing in it between the next 5 as well because they're lining up with Roth, Wright, Adams, Deroe, and Vogelslang. And in fact, Tyson Engelbrecht not too far off the back end as well. But it's Mlimi being closed down by Slade Smith. Smith is on the attack. He wants that win. But the double is on the cards here for Mlimi. He's going to have to work probably harder than ever. Cox on the brother leader KTM coming through ahead of Jesse Wright. Sinswala Yamaha. Q for Fuels Husqvarna is Nick Adams. And in there's the Summit Racing machine of Ricky Roth. Reynard now up into 3rd place ahead of Fitzgerald. So it looks like he's ticking them off one by one and finding late race pace again. It's just showing the fitness he's got. He doesn't have to worry about where he starts because he can come through the field and tick them off one by one. He's got 2 more to go. He might catch Slade Smith. He has caught Slade Smith, and Smith could be in trouble here. The CRT Husqvarna fighting with that Sinswalo Yamaha, and looks like Reynard might have got through on him. I don't know if there's enough time for him to catch that Red Bull KTM, and there you can see it, confirmation. Reynard up into second as Duro goes down. Cam Duro makes an uncharacteristic mistake there. That's probably because of the injury. Reynard not too far behind Mlimi. He had to work a little bit harder this time, but Mlimi still takes the double. Reynard 2 second places on the day, and he finishes up just ahead of Slade Smith with a much better outing on the CIT Racing Husqvarna. Fitzgerald in 4th place, Brad Cox in 5. It's Jesse Wright with a welcome return to motocross in 6, beating Ricky Roth and Nicholas Adams. Let's catch up with Bubba down in pit lane.
Definitely was a hard-fought battle. Ant was on it, Slade was on it the whole day. So yeah, definitely hard work does pay off, but this belongs to God.
Next week we bring you all the rest of the categories from Bloemfontein leading into Dirt Broncos on the 6th of July. The TRP National Motocross Action is proudly brought to you by Out of Africa Group. Create, construct, growth. Sinswalo Lodges, where else in the world? And all our associate sponsors.